Here we are back at the bench. Going to do a little honing today. Going to do a little talking mostly. A little bit honing. Do I even have a razor out? I have to look for one. There's a bunch out. It's just a matter of which one I'm going to use. I'm going to move the little penguin guys out of the way so they don't get dirty or damaged. And I'll talk a little bit first about what's out here. All right. Got an Escher. And what I've decided to do, right, was have the battle of the Titans, you know, which is superior, which is the better stone, the Escher or the Jnat. Now, it's a little bit of a joke here. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, this is one of my show booths, like you see them in my Etsy store from time to time if you go there. This is the one that's actually listed right now on Etsy. Very nice stone. I just finished putting it up. This one is mine. You know, you can see it's the same, you know, breed of stone. I use the stuff I make and sell. My strops are my own, my stones are my own, whatever. Well, I have this. It's my stone. I didn't make that. But this is my travel stone for the most part, but I break it out to hone with on a pretty regular basis because it's a great stone. It's easy to lap. It's easy to flatten. I beat stones up. I use a lot of Nagura. You know, Nagura, these guys, this is abrasive stone. So it's going to wear the Awase Do down, you know. So you have to constantly reflatten. Even if you have like a super hard stone. This is very hard, not super hard, but you'll still wear it because this is abrasive. Anyway, so basically what happened, right, the reason that this video sparked was that, sorry about the glare from the overheads, it's one of those things. This label is sealed. What happened is I was shopping for a new razor, you know. I have a bunch of test razors that I use. Here's some of them, you know. I have 2 more boxes like that on my bench, but those are the ones like I do heavy experimentation with. The others are also testers, but they're more like regular users. So whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just the way I store stuff. Anyway, back on track. What happened was I was buying a new razor, and I came across this one on a forum in a BST section. And I hesitate to buy there because I don't want people assuming I'm buying stuff there to resell. I'm not. I hardly ever do it. This is like the first thing I bought on a BST in like I don't know how long. The reason I bought it because it was a I got tipped off actually. It's a Wade & Butcher, but it has the can you see it? It has the bow engraving. I've had a million of these Wade & Butchers, but no bow. Engraving, and this is actually engraved, you know, the original bow razor. So in the course of the transaction, he asked me what type of edge I was going to put on it, and you know, I didn't even have it yet, so I didn't know, but I said something like, you know, probably Jnat, and he mentioned that he didn't use Jnats, and there was a mention of cost, Jnat cost, you know. I had mentioned that, well, you know, these stones, like, you know, they're not too expensive. They're great stones, and they're like $140. I said that could be a lot of money to somebody, but, you know, when you consider Snow White is like $100 and a 90-watt 12K is about that much, $140 really isn't a big deal, but, you know, whatever. And he mentioned that he had bought an Escher. I think he said a bulbous delayed. I don't know. And he said he got that for $140, and that the Jnat, he felt that the Jnat couldn't be better than the Escher. You know, an Escher for $140 is almost like it never happens, right? Yeah, there are deals. I mean, I'm sure you could get a Jnat somewhere for $10 someday, somehow, but generally speaking, Eschers cost a lot of money. So there's that, you know. But the thing was, in the course of the discussion, he said something like, you know, would the Jnat be better? I don't think so. So the concept of better, okay, constantly comes up with honing and shaving. And there's this Western thinking about trying to enumerate everything and qualify everything with numbers, you know. And at one level it makes sense, another level it doesn't, and I'm going to try and get into why, and I'm going to explain why I'm doing this video. That, like I said, the Clash of the Titans, it's like Godzilla versus Rodan, or Mothra versus Rodan, or Captain Kangaroo versus Father Knows Best. I don't know. Anyway, this Escher cost me more than $140. Okay, I have sold all of my Eschers. This is the only one I haven't sold. This is a yellow-green type. Someone might say it's light green. It doesn't have a color label. No color label. And, solid stone. The size is what I call Barber's Gem. It's not a Barber's Gem stone unless it's in a Barber's Gem box and it's labeled that way. People like to assume size equals the branding, and to some extent I'm sure that's whatever, close to right, but to me, a Barber's Gem and a Barber's Delight is only that if it's in the box, and this is not that. This is just Barber's Gem sized, okay? Nice stone. Let me see, what do we got here? Okay, got like, this is about 5 by like 2.5 by like, I don't know, 3/4, something like that. Anyway, I think the Barber's Delight is like 6 by 2, similar thickness. Whatever. People go crazy for those types of stones, and I'll be honest, out of all of the Eschers, generally speaking, I don't want the Barber's Delight or the Barber's Gem. They're not my favorite. They're always yellow-green for the most part. I have seen a couple of blues, but they're usually always yellow-green or two-tone. I don't really dig them. Those are too soft for me. They're too fast for me. I don't find them to be as fine as I need them to be. I prefer a dark blue. Actually, I prefer a blue-green. That's me, not you. You might like whatever. Me, I like, the ones I just said. Now, why did I keep this one? This is like a yellow-green, but it's hard as hell, okay? And that's an anomaly in that type of stone. And I find that this is a damn good stone. Very nice. My investment wasn't too high. My investment in all the other ones was fairly high. I sold them all off and recouped part of my investment, and I kept this one because I can. Anyway, it's a nice stone. It gives a nice edge. Here's a Jnat. Like I said, this is my stone that I travel with. Nice stone. Gives a great edge. So, which of these two stones is the best? Which one is better? Alright, I'm playing with y'all because there's no answer. There's no contest. There's no better here. Okay? Not even really, so much for me as an individual, but most definitely not in my ability to tell you which one's better. Because this is apples and oranges. Best is a subjective term. There's no way to officially qualify some level of whatever, okay? And I'm going to explain why. You start off with your Escher, right? Let me get a honing block. Grab my gator pad, right? And here's a slurry stone. I got this out for sake of this video. This is actually an old piece of stone. You want to know the truth? This piece of stone right here started like World War freaking III on Straight Razor Place with some like old fart who like couldn't wrap his head around the fact that someone might actually know something, that he doesn't. The thing about the Escher is, right, in a standalone sense, when you're looking at the Escher, it's a finishing stone. When you want to, pretend you're going to compare it to something, your Jnat can be used as a finishing stone, but it can also be used as a more versatile stone, either with its own self or with the aid of Nagur. Does it make it better? No. It is what it is. Eschers are great stones. I told the guy I bought the razor from that I kind of grew out of them, and that it is kind of true. I don't know what it is about these stones, but they no longer like really excite me in any tremendous way. So Anyway, you buy one of these Eschers, you're basically buying it as a finishing stone. There was a rumor that you could use these for more intensive work. There was a guy on, again, Stereo is a place, talking about how he could like set bevels on them or something. And I don't know what that guy was smoking, man. To me, setting a bevel means basically some heavy work. These stones do not do that. They're very fine. They leave a very comfortable edge. All right. You hear the feedback? It's very smooth. And I use a little slurry sometimes, usually not. I just go water only. And, I just hone away. Very easy to work on a Thuringian. Eschers, by the way, are Thuringians. They were mined in that part of Germany. Everything mined in that area was a Thuringian stone. Eschers were branded as Eschers. So Eschers are Thuringians, but not every Thuringian is an Escher. There are quality, differences. Most Thuringians are really good quality. Every now and then you find like unlabeled ones or off-brand ones that'll have like pyrite inclusions or some weirdness, and you can get that, with an Escher too, actually. But people buy Eschers because, well, they're labeled, and the labels are nice. And they're a definitive piece of provenance. They let you know exactly what you have. There's no guesswork, They're a piece of razor history. A lot of them come from the late 1800s and the early 1900s. Like, things started really like, they became popular, and the United States started importing more and more of them. And like I said, this one's really hard. The feeling is really good. It's a little more glassy than a typical yellow-green will ever be. It's more like a blue. Blues are usually pretty hard. To be honest, the edge difference between like a blue-green, and a stone like this, or a very hard light green or whatever, it's marginal. You're not going to get leaps and bounds out of that. You're just not. Okay. The Barber's Delight, the softer yellow greens, I find that they don't get edges as sharp, but they get there like ridiculously fast. But again, that's just me. So yeah, we have a great stone. It's a finishing stone. It's a little, it's limited in its use, but that's fine. It's like, you buy a screwdriver, right? Because you want a screwdriver. If you want a hammer, then go buy a hammer. If you want a stone that's a hammer and a screwdriver, well, that exists, but that doesn't devalue this, okay? It's all a matter of how you look at it, and the concept of one being better than the other is really, it boils down to what do you want, what do you like. The edges from this are unlike every other stone out there. Escher edges are very good, okay? They're very smooth, they're very keen. They're not super keen. They don't get hyper keen. They don't get to that, like, diamond paste sharpness, but that's fine. They get way more than sharp enough, okay? And, basically they're good stones, and that's all there is to it, really, People looking for more than that, I don't know what to tell you, You can't go wrong with an Escher. It just me, I kind of got tired of them, that's all. Okay, this guy, right? Solid piece of Shobodani, Mizu Asahi. Mizu Asahi is, well, they say Mizu, okay? Sometimes people say Mizu Asahi. People want to, a couple of people say, oh, you shouldn't say Mizu Asahi because Asahi is green and Mizu means blue. And I don't give a crap about that minutia or that argumentative crap. Anyway, you got a Jnat, okay? You have, the stone is more versatile, You can use it water only, just like this. You can use it with a Tomonagura, okay? And you make a slurry like you saw me do with the Escher, right? You could use it with Koma or Tenju or Majiro. These are my travel Mikawa Nagura. They're cut down from busted Naguras that I've had over the years. you'll notice there's no Botan at the moment. I don't really need Botan when I travel. It's not like I ever have a honing emergency, but whatever. You know, these are really nice for me. I keep them in this nice setup because it makes me happy when I take them out of their little box. And yes, it's a little like bit much. Don't need it. It's like whatever. For the sake of demonstration, this is Tenju that I use quite often. I like to work with bigger Naguras most of the time. I would never take this on a trip because, well, you know, it's kind of insane. You know, it's sword grade. You know, sword grade Tenju. It weighs about 300 grams. All right, so I got like a Tenju paste on here, and you know, I can do some honing like this, you know. And so I have Tenju, I have other Naguras. I could take an edge that has progressed down further along, you know, towards the early stages, and then bring it back, you know, where the Escher isn't going to do that, but I didn't buy the Escher to do that. You know, the finished edge, which has a better finished edge, the Escher or the Jnat, and that's been like this ongoing thing. Eschers make edges that are sharp enough, they're fine. Okay, they're not the most enjoyable stones to hone on because the feedback is kind of boring. The Jnat is, to me, this one. All right, Jnat's a broad term too, so there are all types of Jnats. Ayotos are Jnats. Okay, you're not finishing on that, but this, okay, it's got better feedback for me. It's a more engaging type of stone. And I will be the first to tell you that I can probably make an edge on this stone sharper than I can on that Escher. What does that mean at the end of the day? Squat. All right. The Escher will take a well-done edge to where you need it to be for shaving. It'll be smooth. It'll be brain dead easy to get there, and you can get an enjoyable shave. Proof of this is those stones have been around for hundreds of years. People still want them and pay ungodly amounts of money for them. Now, sometimes the prices are due to collectability, granted, but for the most part, really, seriously, Eschers sell because they're solid stones. I don't know if I'm going to keep that one that's here. Yeah, I trade stones out, you know. But, you know, the Jnat is more versatile. That's the bottom line, okay? And I think I can get sharper, and sometimes that is what I want. So that's the stone I'll choose for that job, but that I'm not choosing it because it's a better stone. I'm choosing it because it's the right stone for the job. I know, is that clear? Am I making sense? You know, the same thing with caticules, right? You know, caticules... There's a guy saying, oh, a lot of new caticules are only like 7K. I don't know what this guy's sample size experience is. I think he's been honing for a couple of years. I would never say anything like that. It can't back it up. You can't even qualify it. You can't say that any caticule is any K, you know. But on forums, you run into that. You know, if you know me, you know, I don't want to argue, man, you know. For me, most of the time, silence is the best option. Anyway, you have this, you have a Jnat like this that has this level of capability. I can use it with Nagura progressions, and I can use it as water only for fine finishing, and I can also use it for, you know, Tomo Nagura slurry, with Tomo Nagura slurry for final finish. And like I said, you're going to get a great edge. Well, I am. I don't know if everyone is. It really depends on your skill set and your existing work. Some people like Eschers more than anything. Okay, people have over the years spoken poorly about Jnats and said that their edges become too tedious and, you know, too much like diamond paste. I hate diamond paste. To me, diamond paste is like the worst abrasive powder that you could ever use to make an edge. But some people like them. That's good for them, but not for me. So there's that. Anyway, I just want to, like, where's the other one? I wanted to put these two rocks out next to each other, you know, and I wanted to make a point about, you know, what people say about stones and how people approach, like, different aspects of stone ownership and purchasing. And, you know, you got to be true to yourself. You know, if you want an Escher, then you want an Escher. If you want a Jnat, then you want a Jnat. To sit around and stipulate between the two, you need to understand which one is which and which one does what and what it is you're looking to do. You know, if you're looking to go a little deeper into the rabbit hole than you are right now with, say, a synthetic progression, and you want to open up some doors, an Escher is a natural course because you can follow a 12K with it and really, give your edge a nice bump and smooth and maybe a little and sharp, and you might be way happier than you will be off of a, for example, 12K Naniwa. If you want to really open up the door and get into a whole different honing discipline, then, you can go and get yourself a set of Nagura and a Jnat and like go to town, all right? But thinking one is superior than the other, or that this one is better than the other one, it might not be the best way to go about looking at things, okay? Eschers are fine stones. They're great stones, and they'll be in the public eye for as long as they can be found and purchased. And the same with Jnats. People shave healthily, happily, off of both, and they have been for God knows how long, right? So what people got to be like dick measuring all the time and trying to position their purchases or their own things they own against other people's and be like, on top of the situation all the time. And I can't say that's the wrong way to go about things, but it would be for me, because that doesn't help me anyway. There's no real satisfaction there, because it's empty. No matter what you buy, someone can come along, like if you bought this and you think this is the bee's knees, and some guy comes along and buys a 10x2 version of this and then says, well, mine's better because it's bigger. Then what are you going to do, argue about how big it is? I mean, whatever. You want to know the truth? I've had a dozen 10x2s, and I prefer this size. This is the only Escher I would consider owning at this point. Well, this and a 6x2. I don't like the skinny ones, and I don't like the longer ones. It's not a matter of whatever. It's just, it's very nice to go 10 inches of Escher, but after you do it once, it's kind of done. Anyway, so summer's over, by the way. The weather is pretty freaking awesome right now. Even though it's raining, it doesn't make me feel like I'm going to die. And it doesn't feel like I have to change my underwear in 5 minutes either. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm going to be doing a whole lot more honing and a lot more video making, I think, in the upcoming months. What that's going to translate to in videos that I produce and post is another thing. Oh yeah, before I go, I just want to mention, you see the little hatch marks in here? Yeah, don't do that. This was a bad idea, all right? This was an early on idea I got from some genius on a shaving forum. And what happens is all of these little cuts, especially where they intersect, those edges become uber friable. And they can jettison larger pieces of particulate into your slurry. And you might get away with it for a while. And then all of a sudden one day you wind up with like this bizarre rogue scratch, and you can't figure out what the hell the problem is. And the problem is that you made that scratch happen by doing this ridiculous thing with cross-hatching your stone. I know a lot of people do it because, that stops the stone from sticking, or it helps produce slurry faster, and it does do both of those things. But it also increases the chance of, you have extra edges now that become friable, and you have to deal with that. So, if that's something you don't care about, whatever, but I don't recommend it. In fact, I'm going to lap this off today, okay, because I hardly ever use it. But I feel like just having it out on camera is kind of setting a bad example. So I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, have a great fall. I know it's not here yet, but fall is coming. Enjoy the end of summer and get out there, get some honing in, have a great time, enjoy your gear, enjoy your shaves. Talk to you soon. Take care. Later. Bye.